Great. Welcome once again to another episode of Schoolboy Bonanza, where we are talking schoolboy rugby, and once again, schoolboy rugby. Once again, I'm honored to have Louis van Kopenhagen with us, the founder of Schoolboy Rugby Bonanza, otherwise known as Mr. Rugby Bonanza himself. And today we're going to look at the top 10 rankings of last year.
Good evening, Steve. Thank you very much, and good evening to
Great.
viewers. Yes, we are going to delve into the top 10 schools of 2025 and also talk about the standout players. So please join in the discussion, send your comments. If we've maybe missed someone, I think this is going to be a very interesting discussion, and hopefully it won't get too heated. So let's have some fun and just enjoy this.
Awesome. Let's have a look at the top 10 schools. If you can share the screen with us, and then we look at the top 10 schools as well as the standout players.
Right.
Brilliant. Let's start with the top 10 schools first, if that's before we look at the standout players.
Right. Okay, right. So now let's see here. Right. Okay, there we go. Right. So first we are going to look at the top 10 schools, and then we will look at the standout players. So number one, Paul Boys High. Oh, wait. Let me go back up here. Right.
Brilliant.
Paul Boys High, and then Paul Him. So both from the Cape. And then Grey College Bloom, that all three of these don't need any introduction, as we know. Number four, we come back to Gauteng from Affies in Pretoria. And as you know, my dad is an old Affies boy. I think he matriculated somewhere in the 1960s. So we won't give away his age, but he is an old Affies boy. And from my side, this is also one of my favorite schools, if not the favorite. So then we go back to Cape Town, and I believe that is your valley where you come from originally. We go to
That's correct, yes.
Yes, it seems you guys have most of the top 10 schools in the country, so we can be a bit jealous. And then Durban High School, Westville Boys High. And then we're going to just focus a little bit on Oakdale. That's also from the Western Cape. Now, they have been labeled as the Giant Slayers, as they had a very good season where they were able to beat some of the top 5 schools in the country. And I think you can elaborate a little bit more on the top schools that they did beat in 2025.
Absolutely. They actually beat the 2 Paul schools, which was a huge upset. That's why they called the Giant Slayers.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying, if they can be consistent and on a consistent basis win their games, they can very easily threaten the top 5 schools. They've shown it. They've shown 25 by beating Paul Boys and Paul Gim. Or I think, the 2 Paul schools. So watch out for them in 2026. It's just a question of depth and consistency. Yes. And I believe that they can very well be a huge threat for the top 5 schools.
Yes, I believe so as well. And you and I speak about this quite often, consistency. And
absolutely,
that is what, in my belief, sets the top 5 and the bottom 5 apart, because the top 5, we know they are consistent. The way they play, the way they win, how they win, with how much they win. compared to the bottom five, where at one day they pitch up. The next day they can lose by 20 to 30 points. And if
Exactly.
you want to be consistently in the top 10, nevertheless, the top five, you need to be
Yeah.
consistent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Consistency is incredibly key. And I think that's the difference between your top schools. If you look at the top three, great college and the two Paul schools, they world-class schools, but
Yes,
they've got the depth, they've got the consistency, they barely lose a match. And
yes,
that's the difference between your top three and the rest of the top 10.
yes. And also, where it was very interesting with the games last year, where Paul Gym, I think they beat Grey College. Grey
Yes, they did.
College beat Office,
Yeah.
but Office and Paul Gym, they drew their match at 16 all. I
Wow.
watched that game. It was nerve-wracking. Um,
Wow.
I think right at the end, Afi slotted a penalty to Drew 16 all. It was really one of the most nerve-wracking games I saw in 2025. So
Wow.
it shows again, especially the top four, where one beats the best school, then they draw, then they lose against the other. So,
Yeah.
and it shows that, especially the top four, I'm not taking anything away from Paul Roos, but especially the top
Yeah.
four, they are so close. There's almost
Yeah.
nothing between
Oh,
them.
yes. Oh, yes.
So very, very interesting. And then
Yeah.
we come to almost as a surprise, Garsfontein, that suddenly had a fantastic season last year.
Absolutely.
Um, and you can also elaborate on that. They won
Yeah.
the Vaal Cup.
Yeah, they won the World Trophy. They beat Helpmekaar in the finals, which was quite an
Yes.
electrifying finals.
Yes.
And if you look at the other schools are very historic. Many of them have been established in the 19th century. I think Affis, for example, just in the beginning of the 20th
1920s. Yes.
century. Yeah, Paul in the 1850s, 1870s, 1880s. But
Mm,
Garsfontein is one of the youngest schools. They've been established as early as 1988, which makes them younger
okay.
than 40 years.
Yes.
So they're still one of the young schools.
Yeah, they are almost like the baby, right?
Absolutely.
Compared to the other schools.
And they've had some huge results. I think they've absolutely slaughtered Monument, and they
Yes,
also had a huge, big game against Waterkloof, also a huge win. And Monument and Waterkloof traditionally are two of the top schools in Gauteng. But
yes,
Garsfontein was in a different level this year. They absolutely were head and shoulders above many of the Gauteng schools, and they deservedly were the number one school of Gauteng, the Central Gauteng school.
yes, I would agree with you. I think, especially with the Pretoria schools where Waterkloof and Affies usually dominate. Yes,
Yeah,
Affies had a very good season. They were still the number one Pretoria school. But
yeah.
Gars
Yeah,
van
after
Klein,
Office, Garsfontein is literally the number one. So Office still dominates the Gauteng side, and then
yes,
followed by Garsfontein. They were head and
yes,
shoulders above the rest, except
yes,
for
they were
Office, of
head
course.
and shoulders above the rest. So,
Oh,
um,
yes.
and also I watched that final. Um, don't take anything away from Helpmekaar. They really played with heart and
Yeah,
soul. But I think where everything got or ran away for them was in the last 20 minutes. It was like Garsfontein hit from fifth gear to sixth gear.
yeah,
And the last 20 minutes, they really put everything in, and Helpmekaar had no answer.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
And then to round it off, we go back to your valley in the
The
Cape
Western Cape.
with
Yeah.
with Rondebosch Boys High. I think also they had a very good season. Um, I, and also a little bit lucky maybe in that regard. Um, because
Yeah, they suffered a bit of a couple of big losses against the top five schools. I think they
yes,
believe they played two or three of the top five schools, and the one they lost by 50 points, 30 odd points, and then another huge defeat by 40 points.
yes,
So the biggest problem with them is that they are consistent against the top Western Cape schools, but when it comes to playing against the schools above them, they suffered a bit of a big losses.
yes,
And I think that's, as I always say, that's maybe the difference between a top five school and a top 10 school. A school
yes,
that's in the top five and the top 10 is that, you need to cut those big losses out and you need to be more competitive.
yes. I agree with you 100%. Right. So that is a wrap. Just a quick summary of the top 10 schools and what happened with them during the 2025 season. And now we are just going to have a look at some of the standout players. I'm
Yeah.
sure maybe we would have missed some, but please join in the discussion and we would love to hear your thoughts, your comments. That would be very appreciated. So, all right, let's go back to Paul Boys High. So, Jaden Hubert, a phenomenal player, strong ball
Mm.
carrier. He was selected for the SA school side. Um, I think he was instrumental in the Paul Derby as well. He almost reminds me of players like Joe van Niekerk, who also played SA schools when we were at school. Very the same
Yeah.
play, very the same kind of build, and just the way he runs really reminded me of Joe van Niekerk. So that was very interesting. Um,
No.
then Jordan Jooste, prop, very good scrummager, and he was also selected for the SA Schools team. And I think if Ox can just keep on going for a little while, and if Jordan Jooste decides to make a career in rugby, then Ox can say, all right, I retire. Okay, Jordan, you take my place. There we go. Bob's your uncle. So the prop could be
Yeah.
sorted for the Springboks. And all right, so those were the two main players, in my opinion, out of Paul Boys High. Now we come to Paul Gim.
Paul Gim.
Yes. And as we know, Marcus Miller, um, wow, wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
incredible player. Huge talent.
Um, you know, every time he got the ball. And also what that reminded me of is Brian Abana. Every
Yeah.
time he got the ball, you knew something
Something
is going
happens.
to happen, right? And with Marcus Miller, the same. And I think what puts him above the rest of the other centers is his kicking ability. Um,
Yeah.
and he was very consistent during last year with his kicking. So, and obviously,
Wow.
he played for Western Province, Cravenweek, was captain of the SA Schools team. And what a phenomenal season he had for the SA School side during that international window. So I
Yeah.
think great things will come from him. As we know, he signed with Western Province. He's been
Yeah. He's
training with
training with the
them.
Stormers team. Yeah. He trains with
Yes.
them.
So um, I secretly hope, although I'm a Lions fan, but I secretly hope to see Marcus Miller during the course of this year, playing either for the Stormers or Western Province, either URC, Currie Cup, it doesn't matter. But I think that would be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I will still say they need to protect him. He's still very young, 19 years
Yes,
old. So I will say more realistically, I will draw him closer, considering for the Currie Cup. But it needs to be a gradual mode. Too many talented players have started out and then so let's say vroeg ryk, vroeg vrot. Too
yes,
many young players has burned themselves out too early.
yes,
We know of Kevin Bosch, huge talent, but I believe they never really fulfilled his potential on the international level. I think he could have gone so much further. So there's a lot of youngsters that I believe could have gone further, but they weren't probably maybe not managed right or
yes,
never
yes,
really got to the talent. So I would like to see Western Province protect Marcus Miller so that he can
yes.
come through he can come
Through
through
the ranks, yes,
gradually, but be patient. He's 19 years old. He's still very young. So
I
I will
know.
say keep an eye for him in the next 2 years.
Yes,
Let him come through, and let him first, train and learn as much as he can possible.
yes, I agree with you on that one. And then Quentin Potgieter, flanker. Um, yo, what a mobile flanker.
Yeah,
And a good ball carrier. And
yeah,
you see, also another thing, I watched a few of his games. Um, they never ever spoke about his defensive work. He's a very good
yeah.
tackler. He's very good over the ball in the mauls and so on. And I think that also contributed to him being selected
Wow,
for the SA schools. Yes.
absolutely.
Then we come
Great.
to Grey College in Bloem. AJ Mayer. Wow. Tall man. I think he is almost as tall as Evan Etzebeth. A very
Wow,
tall, solid young boy. Lineouts, fantastic. Um, and also, he was drawn into the SA Schools and SA Schools Academy captain. So,
wow.
yes. And then we come to another center, Ethan Adam,
Yeah,
the
the
tank,
tank.
as they call him. What a monster. What a monster.
Yeah,
No one could stop him. And when he and Marcus Miller played together in the SA
outstanding
Schools,
combination.
they complemented each other so well.
Yeah.
And
Oh
again,
yes,
I agree with you. They need to manage, especially these two. They are young. Let them go through the ranks because
absolutely.
I believe these two are going to be our next Springbok center pairing.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah. No, they were dynamite
yes,
together in the Caribbean week. Definitely. So look out for them in the future.
yes. Um, And then we come to one of the most exciting players I've seen in a long time, Magezi. If I remember correct, he played fullback for Grey College. Oh, Steve, that man had electrifying pace.
Wow.
He can even play wing with the pace he has. Very consistent, very good under the high ball, and a very good defender right at the back.
Wow.
Very good. Um, I absolutely loved the commentators every time he got the ball. They got so excited. And then you get drawn into this game, and then it's like you can understand why they make such a fuss about him. So, no, well done. And
Wow.
I think if he carries on with rugby, we might see him in the future playing for the Springboks, but let's see if he wants to carry on with rugby as a career. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that and then see what happens. Um,
Absolutely.
then we come to Affies. So basically only two standout players, Zertmeyer, fantastic. He played, if I remember correct, he played center, sometimes wing. So he's got pace, very good ball carrier, very good to organize the back line together with Ruben Groenewald. As we know, Ruben
Wow.
Groenewald was SA Academy, and
Sure.
he has also been linked with the Lions. So it seems he also wants to carry on. So maybe in the future, if we are lucky, we would have Ruben Groenewald, Marcus Miller, Ethan the Tank Adams in the back line. So you've got your 10, 12, 13 sorted in the future.
Wow. It's
Yes.
some talent to look forward to.
Very.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's going to be very exciting. Then we get to Paul Roos. Now, Altus Rabin, a forward. Um, actually, not much fuss was made about him. He was one of those players that literally quietly went about his business, and he was very consistent. So kudos
Wow.
to him. Yeah, he was one of those guys. You never heard much of him, but he did what he needed to, which I think was something maybe the SA school selectors was looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then Gatkamp. Yeah, he was very physical. Also, someone that was very quiet going about his business, but he got the business done. So,
Yeah.
um, I think maybe this is also, if you looked at the rest of the Paul Roos team, it seems this was more or less their whole morale and team strategy for this year. Just do your thing, don't make a fuss, and just play the game. So, and it seems it worked for them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so well done on that. And then
Absolutely.
Durban High School, only one, Nathan Anake, a forward that stood out. He was also selected for the SAA team. Um, very physical, very prominent, all over the park. He's a very busy.
Wow.
He almost reminds me of a little bit of Quagga Smith. If you see,
Sure.
Quagga Smith is everywhere, and this is how this man was. And especially when Natal was were playing for the warm-up games for the Craven Week, and even during the Craven Week, the games I was able to watch, um, he is everywhere. You see this man, he's all over the park, and
Wow.
he made life very difficult for the other team, like really very,
Wow.
yeah. Then we get to Westville Boys High. Um, Zeke Siayaya, explosive fullback, like very, very good. So he can play either fullback or right wing or left wing. So he's very versatile. He played Craven Week, but he had a lot of competition between fullback and the wings for last year to be pulled into the SA school side. He just missed out. So, but he's still young. So maybe he will have another
Yeah.
chance this year. So he is someone definitely to look out for. Um, and then Malaba. Okay. Um, nothing more to say. Hooker, forward, very strong, powerful scrummager. And he reminds me a little bit of Malcolm Marx. He is
Wow.
a solid man over the ball. You can't move him.
Wow.
He's like a solid rock. It's like the cement has set and that's it. You can't move him.
Wow.
So very good on that. Um, and then Jadian Afrikaner, what a phenomenal talent. Explosive speed. He was drawn up in the SA school side. Steve, that man,
Wow.
that boy, when he got the ball, he just, you knew either he himself is going to score a try or the team will score a try because he was
Wow.
so fast. And I think when you watched the games, I don't think the people realized how quick he is. So they underestimated his speed. So uh,
Yeah.
he caused a lot of headaches last year,
Wow.
a lot of headaches.
Sure.
And then we come to our dark horse, Oakdale, right?
Yeah. Giant Slayers.
Yes, our Giant Slayers, although they only had two players that were really standout. Kai Pratt, he was also selected for SA Schools, um, a prop. So, and I think if Thomas the Toy or one of the other guys can just play long enough, we will have our props sorted out in the future as well. So let's hope
Brilliant.
for longevity for our current props and then that these guys can slot in the near future and take over. Jacobus de Villiers, loose forward, um, also drawn up into the SA schools. He could play 6, 7, or 8. So again,
Yeah.
someone like Kwagga Smith, very versatile, very good ball carrier. Um, and if he decides to go on with rugby as a career, I think he will come very far because of his versatility. So that's someone to look out for in the future as well. And
Wow.
then we come to our young bucks, as we call them.
Yeah. The World Trophy winners.
Yes,
The World Trophy
our,
champions.
our babies for last year, right? Um, Jenna Stewart, the wing, strong man. And I think also because of him, the backline was very explosive of Garsfontein because every time he got the ball, you knew there was trouble.
Sure.
So that I think that counted into their favor. And Luan van der Berg, a lock, second row. Also, the game against Helpmekaar. Uh, the ref spoke to him somewhere during the match. And you look at this boy, 18 years old, and he is just looking down at the ref. I'm like, oh, shame, how must the ref feel? This 18-year-old boy is looking down at him. So that was actually quite funny. I wish I could have taken a photo of that moment. It was something special during that final. Um, Rondebosch boys, Hein, Josh Neal, backline. He's almost like a Franz Steyn, where you can almost
Wow.
him into from 9 up unto 15. So he is really versatile. And during the course of last year, I saw a few games of Rondebosch where you saw he was number 9. Then the next game, he plays number 13. I'm like, okay. Then the following game, he plays fullback. So he is
Wow.
very versatile. And maybe if he is within the right structure and they can groom him in the right way, he could be very much the second Frans Steyn in the future.
Wow.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Then last but not least, Matthew van der Merwe, fullback. Beautiful, beautiful season that he had. Very consistent, and also very good under the high ball. And during the course of last year, very few mistakes that came from himself. And every time he got the ball as well, very electrifying. He's also one of those players that has the ability to put the back line alight. So very good player, and let's hope that if he also decides to go on with rugby, that we will see him in the future, because a very, very exciting player. And yes,
Okay.
Steve, it's if I have missed anyone that you can think of, by all means. And that is a wrap from my side. And thank you very much for joining me today, Steve.
Awesome. All right. As you return to the big screen again, and we stopped sharing the screen, and we can go back to the main screen. Great stuff. Awesome. Thank you once again, guys. Louis, thank you for the insight. And from my side, watch out for these players. I think there's a couple of players that I really believe is going to make it huge. We all know the talent in South Africa is huge, and obviously
Yes.
there's a bit of a gap between your school level and senior level. So not everyone makes it to the top, but I'm sure of it that at least 3 or 4 to 5 of these guys we're going to hear from in the future.
Yes.
Thank you once again, guys, for joining us again. Please, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, join our Facebook group, Schooboy Rugby Bonanza. Or if you haven't subscribed, we've got a YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Schooboy Rugby Bonanza.
Yes.
And if you've got any questions, comments, please share it. We've also got our online magazine. The link is, I believe, is on the Facebook group. Am I right, Louis?
Yes, it is on the Facebook group. And by the end of this month, we are starting with a series of 3 special editions for the magazines leading up to the Easter festivals in April. We will be joining or attending the St. John's College Easter Festival. So please come and join us there. Come and look us up. Come and talk to us. Come and share your thoughts, your views, stories. We would love to hear them. And the magazines will feature the schools that will be attending the St. John's Easter Festival for the coming 3 months. So that's going to be exciting to look out for as well.
Brilliant. From my side and Louis, we would like to also give a special shout out to our journalist, Arnu, that's also on the team,
Yes.
as well as to Louis' beloved wife, Sarah from Copenhagen, who helps with the layout of the magazine. And then also a special shout out to our cameraman, Brian, that's also behind the scenes helping us, especially when we go to the fields. He's very instrumental with the camera work there.
Indeed.
Thank you once again for joining another episode from Schooboy Bonanza. Until episode 3, where we look at the results and the top 10 results of last year, the season that the top 10 schools had, and we will look in depth into the results of the top 10 schools.
Yes, definitely. Until then,
from my side,
and thank you, everyone.
Great stuff.
Bye-bye, Steve. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys. From my side, goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.